2014 was a big year for North Greenville University. The football team won the Victory Bowl, the men's basketball team won the conference championship and went to regionals. The baseball team won the conference championship and also went to regionals. 2014 was just one of many years that make up the rich history of North Greenville's athletic program.
Athletics have been a part of North Greenville almost as long as academics themselves. Records show organized basketball teams as early as 1908, tennis as early as 1913. The first football team was fielded in 1920. In September of 1920, North Greenville students formed the Athletics Association in hopes of getting athletics to stick. Athletics continued their progressive momentum with the Girls Athletic Association of NGBA. It was organized in September 1923 and later reorganized in 1925. At that time, all sports teams were known as the Moonshiners, which related to the school's yearbook known as the Shiner. During the 40s, the sports program was necessarily limited. With the exception of the World War II years, the college sponsored a boys' basketball team every year. As early as 1946, Dr. Donnan asked the General Board for money to build a gym, but the request was refused. The chairman of the Board of Trustees took his appeal to the floor of the state convention. At the conclusion of the appeal, one member made a motion that $20,000 of the emergency $50,000 be used for North Greenville's gym. An objection was raised. Some said this was no emergency. Dr. Donnan said, "If we had a gymnasium and it had burned down last night, you would consider that an emergency. But since we have never had a physical education building, you say it is no emergency." The convention voted to give North Greenville the $20,000. In June 1950, work was started on the new gym. The gym was dedicated in May to trustee Joe F. Hayes. In 1951, the athletic team chose the name Black Widows. In 1954, the basketball team chose to be called the Mountaineers, or the Mounties. The College Federation conducted a poll on the proposed change, and the new name was selected by unanimous vote.
When I first came here, they were Mounties. They were Mountaineers, and I think, truth be known, many of them still think about themselves as Mounties.
And then we were the North Greenville Lake College, of course, and we were called, the women's teams were the Lady Mounties. And I think 2 years before that, they had been the Mountainettes.
I coached when we were Mounties, so I'm a Mountie at heart. I love the Crusaders, but I'm a Mountie at heart. And so he was an old mountain man with a corncob pipe and a shotgun and a jug of moonshine at his feet. So that image didn't quite fit North Greenville as we moved forward. And
girls had physical education classes at a limited intramural program.
Well, I was first introduced to North Greenville in 1953. My scholarship when I arrived at North Greenville was athletics. I gave calisthenics to all the gym classes, the girls' gym classes. We didn't make some, of course. And my scholarship was with Nancy Dermner, who was actually the French teacher. She'd never had any experience with athletics, so she pretty much just turned it over to me, is what we did.
Although there was considerable enthusiasm surrounding the athletic program with Coach Pinson, 2 years after it began, there was a growing conviction of a need for a new appraisal of the program and of North Greenville's ability to host such activities. By recent action of the Board of Trustees, North Greenville Junior College will, beginning with the fall session of 1953, leave off football as an intercollegiate sport. This action was taken after careful study of the cost of the program during the past 3 years and of the possible benefits that had been derived. Because of the uncertainty of the increasing receipts from games due to the location of the colleges, the trustees thought there would be little chance of ever putting the program on a self-paying basis. Plans are to continue intercollegiate basketball and baseball.
Even though the students no longer had football, new coach Richard Campbell helped pass the boundaries of what was possible.
The greatest accomplishment in athletics during those 5 years was the meteoric rise to national prominence of North Greenville's basketball teams under Campbell's instruction. In '56, North Greenville won conference and tournament and took District 10 honors. In the NJCAA tourney at Hutchinson, Kansas, the boys rated 8th in the nation. Then in '57, the Mountaineers, an all-freshman team, won both the conference and tournament championships, finishing as the 9th-ranked team in national competition. During those 4 years, there were 10 boys who made all-conference one or more times in basketball. During these years, a stronger emphasis was given to basketball for girls. Miss Alverson developed in her varsity teams a fine spirit of sportsmanship and team play. Possibly the outstanding year of these girls' teams was that of 1962. Their greatest achievement that year was winning the collegiate championship for the season, thereby placing the girls' basketball team, quote, somewhat on par with the boys' basketball program.
I was a student here, graduated in 1967. I was a North Greenville lassie. The men's team were known as the Mountaineers. Here we are in basketball uniforms. Now I'm talking about knee pads, high knee socks and everything, and going from the girls' dorm, you would have to have on a rain jacket over your uniform to go play basketball or even to go to PE class. So times have changed.
1975 proved to be an eventful year for North Greenville as well. This was the first year athletic grants or scholarships were made available for women who were on sports teams. In 1976, the Mountainettes ladies basketball team went to the national tournament.
When I was working in the bookstore manager, we used to be located underneath the old Neves cafeteria. So I got to watch the tennis team practice and everything out my window. And I can remember when Coach Carlton took them to nationals, won nationals 1 or 2 years there.
In 1976, also the tennis team went to the national finals in Arizona. In the fall of 1977, the Mountie Club was first officially organized. It was created by a group of loyal alumni friends of the college who wanted to see the sports program of North Greenville grow. This was the first incarnation of the Crusader Club.
The Crusader Club is the fundraising arm of athletics.
People who graduate from here eventually will return and will be donors and will invest in the program or in scholarships like the Crusader Club does, so other people will have that opportunity.
And we want those folks to be recognized as leaders in the adult world to help athletes when they come to North Greenville.
We predominantly are raising money for scholarships.
Mr. Melvin Yantz loves athletics. He's a lawyer and not an athlete in his adult life, but he's given because he wants to see athletics be a real serious part of North Greenville.
But it is very important to the vitality of athletics here in North Greenville.
One thing you may not realize, the 62-63 grill was given by athletes, former athletes. When Jack Dean was the basketball coach here, he recruited a bunch of guys who get together once a year, every year, but they funded the buying of the furniture. So athletes have done other things other than just play when here.
It has a great athletic tradition, even back in the junior college days, but especially in the last couple of decades.
So actually when we played, we were not in what you would call a league. It was very different.
Because in 1983 we were a junior college and we were members of the National Junior College Athletic Association. So being a junior college, 2-year school, obviously that's a big difference in where we are now.
And after several years we went 4-year, and then we were in the NAIA,
which is the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics. 2000-2001 we began our quest to move up to NCAA Division II.
Moving from NAIA to NCAA was a big step for our institution and certainly athletically.
You know, we've had some sports to do really well, and hopefully we can continue that.
We do still compete as a member with the NCCAA, the Christian College Athletic Association. North Greenville University, actually North Greenville College at the time, joined NCCAA in 2001. Even as you folks joined NCAA, there's no conflict here. That, we don't want them to go NCAA, it'll hurt their NCCAA. We welcome that, because North Greenville's a school that they can be in the NCAA, and it's not going to change who North Greenville University is.
As solid as the institution is, North Greenville's athletes still struggle like any other student.
I think being an athlete in college anytime, it makes your academic pursuits more difficult.
The challenge is that they persevere in the classroom just like they persevere in athletics.
I think time management is a big part of it.
And I believe what we teach in athletics transitions to the classroom and makes our students better in the classroom, better preparing them to succeed in a very difficult competitive marketplace.
And when an athlete comes in and applies themselves both in sports and in academics, this has a tremendous influence on other students. And a big plus there is if they are spiritual leaders on the campus.
You can be a light in a dark world as an athlete.
The impact, if you would, of student athletics can be significant when done right.
But we really want the impact on your life to be a Christ-centered impact.
I think numerous ones of our athletes probably came here and were not necessarily committed Christians, because you don't have to be a Christian to come to North Greenville. And I know personally several who left here with a whole different worldview.
We have a vehicle that we can use to reach a lot of people that you might not otherwise reach.
I wouldn't say that we do athletics to get more non-Christians or more Christians, but you know, it is important that we don't require people to be a Christian.
It is vital to us that we recruit young men and women so that we can train them up and mature them in the Lord, so that we can send them back out into the marketplace to make a difference for God, to be those difference makers for the kingdom.
We always want to be about more than just basketball.
Because somebody might come to see a football game or basketball game or baseball game that has never heard the gospel, but they're going to hear, you know, that Christ makes a difference.
You get student athletes from North Greenville who get it. They understand the connectivity of the cross and sport and what that can do in our culture.
We feel like we're sending missionaries out to spread the word through this game.
I think also numerous ones of our team have gone on athletic mission trips.
Our guys are active every year with basketball camps,
and to see athletic ministries become a real part of the athletic program.
And I think because of our coaches and our institution, we expect more of our student athletes.
I think the big thing is the influence that we have on our students and how they go out and spread the message even after that.
You never know where you might spread the gospel, and someone might listen to a football player just because they like football that much, or they like basketball, or they like baseball.
Then, you know, everybody knows we're a Christian school, and so they're always kind of looking at us and, you know, well, I thought y'all were a Christian school. Well, that doesn't mean we're not going to try to win.
And, you know, we may knock you down, but we're going to be there with a hand to pick you up, too.
Of course, you know, we always pray before every game, and we're one of the few schools that do that still.
Our guys offer up things that are going on in their lives that we need to be praying for.
At our Baseball World Series, watching that team, it was clear from the time they arrived on that venue that team was a connected bunch of young men through a coach who got it, you know, as we say, he got it. He knew how to connect faith and sport. The fact that they won the World Series was bonus.
With all the positivity in the recent decades, it's easy to forget how far the institution has come.
Mid-'80s, the late 80s, the school was struggling financially.
I can remember going to flea markets and buying socks and shorts and stuff for them. Every game we went on, we'd get $3 a meal, and so as you know, you can't eat a whole lot on $3 even back then. It was a struggle to eat on that. You know, the big thing was we tried to stress the positives and never look at that we were, you know, in a bad situation. And like I said, we had kids that we were still a whole lot better than what they had at home.
I was coaching soccer, and we had won one game the first year I coached.
I'll never forget our first recruiting class and watching them develop and really take a chance on us.
We used to have huge rivalry with Anderson College. Anytime Anderson and North Greenville played men's basketball, there's going to be a fight.
And we were playing Anderson in soccer, and they were really, really good. I think they had won the region. And
our first year, we won 2 games. We were 2-24. It was not pretty.
I mean, it was just, you just put it in the books. There was going to be somebody who was going to have a brawl at some point in time because it was just that intense.
And they had beat us like 8-0 the year before.
But we had a great recruiting class that came in and really believed in what we were doing. And it was not where we were, but it was where we were going.
And so I really miss that intensity, you know, maybe not the fights, but I miss that intensity that we used to have with Anderson, how everybody, we would pack the house for Anderson, they would pack the house at their place.
But we beat them. And you know, and I was the coach, and let me tell you, I had great players. It wasn't nothing I was doing. I just kind of drove the bus. Well, I got the Gatorade bath that day, and I'll never forget that.
And that class not only turned in a winning season, but won a lot of basketball games and really was a catalyst for us down the road and breaking a school record in wins with 22.
In men's basketball especially, that was when you had just tons of kids that couldn't get in NCAA D1. So we had the freshmen and sophomores that were going to go and play D1 basketball somewhere. And so, I mean, it was high slamma jamma all the time. And it was great basketball.
I always knew our athletes played hard, worked hard, but no one seemed to know they existed.
Even if we won games, we could not get local recognition in the Greenville area.
And it really has taken different teams to win either conference championships or to advance into the NCAA playoffs.
You know, if you can get some news, then everybody learns a little bit more about your school.
But we got to do well on the field and in the classroom to make that happen.
Anytime you see a student athlete receive an all-conference honor or national honor, or just do well, have an outstanding performance, that's really what it's all about.
The more recognition you get, hopefully you get better students and more students, and so that's made a big difference. And
our teams aren't in the news because they've done something crazy and they're in trouble. They're in the news because they've been successful. And they're gaining individual recognition, which in turn gives team recognition, which gives institution recognition.
At any school, your athletic program becomes the face of your university a lot of times because that's what people see.
But I think they were handicapped in many ways simply because we didn't have the facilities or the equipment or the amount of coaches that we needed. And as that has improved, so have our sports.
Our teams have come so far from their humble beginnings. However, it's not only the teams that have progressed so much, but also the facilities, which include fields, courts, and training rooms and other facilities that provide the much needed accommodations for collegiate level athletics.
Our home soccer field back then was on the baseball, what is the current baseball field. It was still the baseball field, but we played on the outfield. So the corner would have been almost like at the foul line over here. Because we wasn't going to get a full field, we tried to make it as wide as we could. When we started football, we took the whole field down and flipped the softball into the corner down there, and this was the practice field. And we practiced there until they built the stadium.
One of the highlights was to see the groundbreaking for the athletic stadium, football stadium.
It's a beautiful stadium here at North Greenville.
You know, we're getting ready to open up a new softball field, getting ready to open, get the track going.
The big one of all of those, though, which we've not talked about, is the new arena. The Chapel Arena, which should be coming online in the next 3 years.
They'll be used for dual purposes. For number one, to teach incoming students and students that are here about the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that they will also be there for great athletic events.
The facilities will be second to none in our world.
We're getting better facilities. When you get better facilities, you know, you're going to get the higher recruit.
Obviously, our improvements with facilities really shows our commitment to athletics here.
And then, you know, I think, and I really feel in my heart that one day North Greenville, you know, 10 years, 15 years down the road will be a Division I school, but that's not right for us right now.
I would love for North Greenville to be considered an NCAA D2 powerhouse.
The way we need to make that happen is, as administrators, we need to get our scholarship levels to the NCAA Division II max.
So I see us in the future not only winning conference championships, but national championships at the Division II level.
Although winning and championships are important, I think our student athletes and certainly our coaches understand what we're about and who we are and what we strive to be.
That understanding is what sets NGU apart and brings people together.
Been great over the years to see how the campus and the community just comes together through a simple thing like a basketball game or a football game or a soccer match.
And it becomes a place where people can rally around.
We would love for every student to come and be involved in athletics.
We've got one of the best atmospheres in the conference.
So I think that I keep telling our girls, you know, you got to win the first ones to get the crowd to come back.
We play in Hayes Gym, which is you know, a small facility, and it seats about 1,200, and normally it's just standing room only, and the students are right on top of the action. And
it really gives the university a unity that you come and you meet. There's not a whole lot of places you meet all together. And I know we have chapel, so we're together a couple of times a week, but there's also times when you know, we're at basketball games, volleyball games, soccer games, football games.
It's a tough place for opponents to come in and win, and we like having that atmosphere, and the students certainly take a lot of pride in that.
The opportunity for students to participate in something together that is a spirit-building kind of operation is always very important.
I know our student body can make a huge difference for our athletes on the field when they feel like that their friends are behind them and they hear them and they know they're there, and I think it just adds to the overall spirit of the university.
If we could just get everybody to be interested and come out and sport, I think it would help all the teams.
The increased support in athletics extends the overall impact of North Greenville, including enrollment.
I think first of all, athletics has helped because as we've added more sports, we've added more students.
When my daughter graduated here, there was 360 students. I remember when the football program started back up over at Greer Stadium. And I think that was fantastic. I think it helped with the growth.
In the 90s, football did keep it afloat. That was part of North Greenville's problem, though, is athletics is not enough to keep a school afloat.
I mean, because you took away a quarter of our population, we would, like I say, we could survive, but we wouldn't be thriving like we are now.
We bring in athletes to help the numbers, because if, you know, right now, a lot of schools, they're probably 60–70% athletics, and that's kind of how we were.
And basically what has happened is, you know, North Greenville doesn't have to have athletics to stay alive. Matter of fact, it's better off that it doesn't have to have athletics. All we do is help out the end goal.
There have to be things going on campus to hold interest, and it's just a part of the overall campus spirit.
We give it some life after the classroom.
Because we have a football program, we have a marching band. And so that brings maybe students that wouldn't come here, but they want to be a part of a marching band.
The growing student population obviously gives us more fans at games.
They want to be in a school where they can be a Crusader crazy, or they can show up and be at a basketball game or a football game and cheer on the team.
But in turn, it gives us more options academically. And our players are now able to enjoy more majors on campus.
We believe that the academics here are valuable, and we believe that that value for the athlete is it will change his life.
And just a lot of things going on that we weren't able to offer when we only had 600 students.
But I think when you win at that upper tier level is certainly some historical moments. Certainly when our football team was the first team in history to make the NCAA Division II playoffs.
They've racked up some victory bowls. Our golf team has been to some regional playoffs. Tennis, I think they won tons of NCCA championships.
I can remember some years we had winning teams, some years you don't.
Our baseball, softball have all done really well. I think they both won a couple national championships.
And so it's given us an opportunity to make a stand, to make a statement in the world about who we are as Christians.
Having had a daughter and a son attend there, it happens in the classroom, it happens in the residence halls.
I believe North Greenville athletics is strong, and we are getting stronger because we have strong leadership, both administratively with the institution as well as our athletic staff.
Hands down, they are absolutely the best.
I work with coaches that genuinely care about their players, and it goes beyond the playing field.
There's no doubt there's not a one of them that doesn't work hard every single day.
There's just a lot of people behind the scenes here that make things go, and I'm just really glad to be a part of it.
Everybody, when they see athletics doing well, they see that North Greenville's doing well, and that's what I really enjoy.
And I've watched it expand over the years. I've seen a lot of changes, and I think they're all for the good.
I just can't imagine having a university without it being a big piece of what we do.
And we will be cheering for all 103 of our members, but that one's real close to our heart, and we might cheer a little bit louder for the Crusaders from time to time.
You know, I can remember many nights winning at the buzzer and the crowd pouring onto the floor, and it's just an electric atmosphere, and you'll never forget those things. You'll never forget winning a conference championship and the pride that your players have, and you never forget you know, all the players that you coach and the time that they put in. So it's a family here, and you know, those things I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.
No one can say exactly what will happen in North Greenville's athletic program for the future. However, this is certain: North Greenville as a whole exists to bring glory to the name of Christ.